This is Unrendered on IKTV. I'm Tony Regisford, and my guest on this edition is Dr. the Honorable Linton Lewis, Chairman of the New Democratic Party. Dr. Lewis, I was saying that you have an exciting time ahead of you, immediately in front of you, actually, to resolve this, or to help in resolving the difference between Sir James and Honorable Anna Eustace. Let's go and touch on something that you touched on the convention in your address. I know you weren't given a formal address, but you chaired the proceedings. And did I hear you saying, because you mentioned some of the failed projects of the ULP, did I hear you saying that the airport is a failed, the Argyle International Airport is a failed ULP project?
No, you didn't hear that, because I didn't say that. I mentioned 4 projects of the Unity Labour Party that were major projects. 2 of them failed miserably.
Okay.
And 2 of them are really creating a burden on the backs of our people.
So the airport, you're saying, is creating a burden.
And the value-added tax. The other 2 I spoke about, the cross-country road, where there's a road in the Windward, one in the Leeward, and nothing in between, and the Constitution Reform Project.
Do you see the airport as being necessary? You know, every time I have somebody from the NDP on Unrendered, I'm still trying to get clear what is the NDP's position on the airport. And I have to echo what Sir James is saying as well, because he is getting the same message from the NDP. There's no clarity. There's no, he's not clear on what position the NDP holds on the airport. So maybe on this program you can
very clear.
Yes.
You have, and I've mentioned it before, you have in Argyle massive area. You have a terminal building being built. You have airstrip, landing strip constructed.
It's a big project, yes.
A massive project.
Fine.
Recently, $208 million allocated to that project. And you still want to know the NDP's position on that. We have said on a number of occasions
that you support it.
That once we get into office, we will analyze what is necessary.
So you support it provided that you are going to take it over?
But I don't understand that.
Well, I'm trying to understand you.
But we are going to take it over.
Yes, so you support,
the airport? When we win the elections, we will look into the project in an in-depth manner with a view to ensuring that it is continued effectively, efficiently, and economically.
And you're saying that's not happening
now? On
now?
behalf of the people of St. Vincent de Grant.
Are you saying that's not happening now?
We will be transparent
yes.
in the manner in which we account for not only the expenditure, but in the manner in which we account for exactly the physical infrastructural development on the ground. I am saying what we will do. I am not saying what the ULP is not doing.
Would the NDP have built an airport? I know it's just speculative, but would you have done that?
It is. Given the circumstances, you must remember that.
But did I say to you, would the NDP have built an airport?
We in the NDP, we actually went ahead to have the assessment done as to whether or not we can actually construct an international airport, and the cost-benefit analysis of so doing. We had a kitchen site in Argyle. It is that report that was used.
Yes, Linton, so but that's fair enough. But I'm saying,
but also
that's just a study. But would you have turned the sod? But would you have built an airport?
But what we're saying is that it's difficult at this time to say that definitively. Why? Because the mere fact that we carried out the studies meant that we intended to build an international airport.
There's a saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, you can intend a lot, but it takes balls and guts.
But you're asking me to answer a question. We are not in office. When we were in office, we did what was necessary to ascertain whether or not it was feasible to build an international airport. The ULP used those studies as a basis on which they made a decision to build.
And so should
we have
so
been
they should
involved
have.
in, we
Yes.
have been in airport construction, and
Yes.
Hisville extension. They have the Cannon one and so on, the
Right.
Beckwith airport. So we
So the
we
ULP
so we have
argues-
really been involved
the
in
ULP
construction of
argues that
airports.
those same studies came to the conclusion that Argyle was the best site based on economics, based on the amount of money that was involved. The socio-economic, sorry, not the socio-economic, but the efficiency thing that
The
you're
cost
talking about,
benefit
the
analysis.
cost benefit.
Yes.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
Right? The Argyle site was the best site to go ahead with.
Well, the ULP may have thought it was a better site at that time.
But it was
Give
based
me-
on your studies.
No. What I'm saying.
same studies that
no,
you talk about.
The issue is this: the kitchen site was named as a very good site,
Yes, the kitchen
except
site-
that it was more costly.
Right, so
than
we're
that.
talking about
So the-
cost-benefit analysis.
The issue is this: not with respect to the choices, not with respect to the choice of either kitchen or Argyle, because one is not certain that the benefits to be derived from building an airport or constructing an airport in Kitchen as opposed to Argyle are far more constructed in Argyle. So one has to go into
Dr.
further
Lewis,
to that.
I think you have to be candid and honest here.
But I am.
The kitchen site was going to be 3 or 4 times the cost of
No, I'm
Argyle.
talking.
So
I'm talking
why
about-
are we bringing
no,
that
you're talking
as-
about cost.
Yes.
When you use the term cost benefit,
Yes.
it is a different thing to talking about the cost of both sites, constructing airport.
You know, I'm going to go back to what Sir James is saying.
Yes.
Sir James says that his party dances around the issue.
I'm not dancing
of-
on this. I've
of-
just told you.
of airport.
I have just
Yes.
told you clearly and unequivocally what the New Democratic Party will do when we get into office. The issue of whether or not we want an international airport is not of significance anymore. You have out there a vast area of land being constructed, an international airport has been placed there, there's terminal building, the airstrip there. We in the New Democratic Party have said over and over and over again what we will do. That is very clear to me.
The ULP poll, before we run out of time, ULP conducted a poll that actually came out as them gaining more popular support. Is that something that worries you, or you just think that that poll is trash?
But we also are of the view,
Yes.
our understanding of the results of the poll is that we will win 13-2.
That same poll?
Yes.
That's confusing, because
It's very confusing, isn't it?
how can that poll say that the ULP is likely to gain a couple seats if an election were held at the time of the poll?
Because the reporting of the results of that poll may not be accurate.
But the person who did the poll did the analysis.
No, but the person did the poll
He-
did not.
he- the person who did the poll
did
did
not
the
comment
interpret.
on the political results. He said, "Let the political pundits deal with that."
The Searchlight carried a summary
I read.
of what
I
the
read.
cadres, Peter Wickham,
He's-
said, and he was very clear.
He was clear on the discussion of the polls between the Honourable Adam Eustace and the Prime Minister.
He was
Dr.
also
Kazan.
very clear, Dr. Lewis, that with the 2.5% percentage gain in popularity, that the ULP were likely to gain 2 seats in addition to the 8 that
is
they
what-
have.
That he did not say that.
well-
no, that was reported, but I can recall him saying, and I have this article at home, that with respect to the results, political results, he will let the political pundits of the NDP and the ULP deal with that.
You have totally confused me, because I read his report or his summary,
Well, you shouldn't be confused if you read it.
but I saw where he said that with the 2.5%, was it 2.5%? I
That
can't
was
remember.
reported. He did not. That was not in inverted commas. What was reported in the paper was different. It's a different article to the interview that the Searchlight journalist had with the gentleman.
Dr. Lewis, I saw the letter that Peter Wickham signed,
Yes.
from which the Searchlight was quoting.
Oh, you saw
Okay,
the letter?
yes.
I didn't see it.
Okay?
So I can only speak on what
And I'm
I
saying
read.
again to you that he was being clear that with the results of the poll, the 2% or so gain in popularity meant that that can translate into the ULP getting an additional 2 seats.
Well, my understanding is that the closer you get to 2015, the likelihood is that you'll lose 13 of the seats.
Are you talking about a different poll? Because
same poll.
I heard the leader of the opposition say
poll,
that
same poll.
an earlier poll
Same
was done
poll,
that
same-
showed.
Same poll. Now,
Are you sure of that?
My thing is this, is that I don't, you may have information different
No,
from
no, no,
what
no,
I
no,
have.
no, no. My information is the
But
same as the Searchlight.
the mere,
Yes.
good, the mere fact that your understanding is somewhat different to mine does not necessarily mean that you are correct. I may not necessarily mean that I am correct. But the fact that I am correct.
Here's
is
my
what I'm
question
saying.
to you, though. Why
Yes.
are we here debating the chances of the ULP winning the next election, going for a 4th term, 3 terms?
I'm not debating
NDP
that. You're mentioning that.
is in opposition. Shouldn't it be clear that the NDP would romp home to victory?
But it's very clear.
Why is that still unclear? It's clear to you.
It's abundantly
It's
clear.
clear to you
No, it's
because of the
abundantly clear
politics
no, it's
and the
abundantly
message
clear.
you want to give.
No, it's
But-
abundantly clear to all and sundry. All these years of negative growth,
Mm-hmm.
all these years, 8 years of deficit budget, the agricultural sector is down. That used to drive the economy in a very major way.
Mm-hmm.
Unemployment is up because we don't have that level of economic activity in the
Right.
country anymore. Tourism is not doing as well.
Yes.
Those are 2 major productive sectors in the economy.
Yes. But
People satisfied with that?
I'm going to put it to you that those factors existed in 2010. Why was it that you were not able to take
They were not
it
as
over?
bad as they are now.
So in 2
It's
years,
got worse.
In 2 years, it's got
It's
worse.
got progressively worse, terribly worse.
Dr. Lewis, it's been a pleasure
It's a
having
pleasure.
you on the program.
Thank
Sadly,
you.
we're out of time. And we didn't get to touch on a lot of other stuff,
Yes,
but
yes.
thank you very much for coming.
You're most welcome.
This has been another edition of Unrendered. As usual, it's always a pleasure to have as my guest Dr. the Honorable Linton Lewis. Welcome to the studios of IKTV. He is anytime. Do tune into IKTV the next time Unrendered airs. On the next edition of Unrendered, I must tell you that my guest would be the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves. We'll be chatting a bit about the estimates for 2014. Do tune in when that program also airs.